Welcome to the new podcast show, The Truth with Dr. Ruth. Join us in the chat room as she shares her personal stories and thought-provoking discussions on various topics. Feel free to explore these podcasts and join the engaging conversations. Invite a friend to our discussion that goes beyond conventional narratives, fostering a community where truth and understanding prevail on the podcast show, The Truth with Dr. Ruth. See you there.
Madness at Haggatts St Andrew. Sonso Hope was born in 1897 and lived in Haggatts, St Andrew, Barbados. He was a man well known, indeed notorious, amongst his neighbours, not merely for his seeming arrogance but for the ferocity that simmered just beneath the surface. Hope was a labourer at the Haggatts plantation, a job that he performed with a gruff determination. Yet, despite the sweat and toil of his days, he carried a burden of illiteracy that gnawed at his self-esteem, worsening his already volatile temper. On a hot afternoon, the air thick with humidity and unresolved tension, so Hope returned home, only to find an argument boiling over with his wife, Cooley. The disagreement, which began over the simplest of matters, food, quickly escalated. Voices rose, hands gestured wildly, and words flew like arrows, leaving emotional wounds that would take time to heal. Though the quarrel subsided as dusk fell, the night was restless. Morning came on February 22, 1933, bringing with it the familiar patterns of anger. Hope reignited the flame of discord, his temper flaring with a threat that would chill any heart. He vowed to kill Cooley with a pitchfork. Fearful of the violence in her husband's words, Cooley resolved to leave, headed for the District F police station to file a complaint against him. As she made her way along the dusty road, fate intervened when she encountered Island Constable Collymore. Her words poured out, a torrent of dread and desperation, as she recounted her husband's rage. It was a heavy moment, one filled with the gravity of a life teetering at the edge of calamity. Nearby, sowing the seeds of his own fury, Hope approached. Seeing his wife confiding in the constable ignited a blaze within him. The argument resumed with a tumultuous fervor. In an instant, he withdrew a knife from his pocket, raising it like a dark omen. "Come on, make a move." He spat, his face twisted in rage as he threatened both Cooley and Constable Collymore. Hope's blood boiled, his vision narrowed to a tunnel, his mind consumed by the fiery wrath that ruled him. With the flick of a wrist, the confrontation escalated. Hope, emboldened by his own rage, lunged at Cooley, a blur of chaos erupting in the familiar yard. The blade found its mark, seeking vengeance on her body. The screams echoed as the constable leapt into action, attempting to intervene. But Hope, driven by madness, seized the constable's baton, overpowering him with a primal force that sent him crashing to the ground. Cooley, wounded and bleeding, fled into the nearby cane fields, desperation fueling her escape. Her vision blurred as crimson soaked her clothes, the world around her fading into hazy shadows. In the stitched fabric of her suffering, Hope, oblivious to the horror he had wrought, turned and made his way home. "I'll get my machete," he shouted into the void created by his fury, a threatening promise that echoed ominously in the still air. Armed with the heavy blade, he returned to the road, a spectre of chaos. As he neared the Haggatts plantation, he caught sight of a woman, innocent and unaware, washing her clothes in a pasture nearby. Without a moment's hesitation, and with his mind consumed by violent fervor, he struck, a fatal blow aimed at an undeserving soul. The once tranquil air shuddered with his actions. The woman, whose laughter had surely filled the world at some point, now lay lifeless, a victim of blind rage. In the throes of his violence, so Hope lost more than just his sanity, he lost his humanity. As the sun beating down the horizon, casting long shadows over Haggatts, the ghosts of Hope's choices began to haunt not just him, but every life intertwined with his, a tapestry marred by violence, loss, and the haunting echoes of a man consumed by his own fury. Hope continued his rampage, his rage only intensified, fueled by the fury of his own madness. He encountered Constable Thompson, who bore the brunt of his wrath, suffering wounds to his head and body. The laborers from the plantation, sensing danger, fled in terror, but Hope's machete-clad figure gave chase. The plantation manager, who happened to pass by on a horse, was spared by Hope's words, "Don't be afraid, I won't hurt you." Yet, His mercy was short-lived, as he turned and vanished. The trail of bloodshed continued as Hope stumbled upon Lottie, whom he attacked with equal ferocity. She too fell victim to his machete, her life cut short. The landscape seemed to blur as Hope's mind lost all sense of reality. As he approached the cane field where he had previously attacked Cooley, he spotted a group of women working nearby. In a frenzy of violence, he grabbed Helen and hacked her down with a fatal blow. His next target was Louise, whom he struck 22 times with the machete before continuing his rampage. At Bruce Vale River, Hope encountered Ella and Ella's co-worker King while they were working. With a swift stroke, he slashed Ella across the blade. Miraculously, she managed to escape with her life. King's words, "What the hell are you doing? You've gone mad," only seemed to enrage Hope further. He struck King's neck with a brutal force that nearly severed her head. As if driven by some demonic force, Hope continued his destruction spree. He descended upon Lake's tenantry, where he slaughtered pigs and a mule in a blood-soaked frenzy. The scent of chaos wafted through the air as he set fire to Mr. Springer's house, leaving it in ruins. The madness consumed him utterly as he returned to Haggatts' yard, where 2 unsuspecting donkeys awaited their fate. With a swift swing of his machete, one donkey fell lifeless, while the other lay injured. The factory's manager, armed with a gun, stood firm against Hope's approach, warning him that he would shoot if necessary. At last Corporal Mayers arrived on the scene and Hope, faced with the corporal's stern gaze and the muzzle of a gun, Hope slowly lowered his machete and surrendered. Charged with murder and brought to court, Hope's fate was sealed. The judge delivered a sentence that echoed through the chambers: death. As the weight of justice settled upon him, Hope's mind recoiled in horror at the trail of destruction he had left behind. The once peaceful landscape of Haggatts had been forever scarred by his descent into madness. The community of Haggatts struggled to come to terms with the carnage wrought by Hope's unrelenting fury. The survivors bore the physical and emotional scars of his brutal attacks, while the memories of those who had fallen would haunt them for years to come. In the aftermath of the tragedy, whispers spread about the circumstances that led Hope down this path of destruction. Some blamed his illiteracy and temper for his downfall, while others pointed to deeper psychological issues that had gone unaddressed. As Hope awaited his execution, his story served as a grim reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked rage and the importance of addressing mental health issues before they spiral out of control. The people of Haggatts rebuild their lives and their community. But they would never forget the lessons learned from Hope's tragic descent into madness, that even in the most ordinary seeming lives, darkness can lurk beneath the surface, waiting to strike when least expected. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Therefore, you would not miss out on new content. And whose truth? No other than Dr. Ruth.